you everybody for being here today. Our presentation today, Hicksville has an opportunity to host an all-star classic for Northwest Ohio. There are over like 24 high schools that have been invited to have a boy and a girl representation for their basketball teams to come and just play, have a nice day. But most of all, this day is set towards our Special Olympics and their basketball teams, and they've done a tremendous job for years participating and working together and having a good time with these young people. And today we have representation from the west side of the area, Williams and Defiance County. Johnny Davis here, and his dad John's here with him. You're going to talk about a little bit about the program, what the practicing, all that kind of good stuff that they do. Right? And then we also have Bob Weatherhead. Josh Freeze, our girls basketball coach, and Bob Weatherhead, the assistant coach here for the girls basketball team, and John, they kind of help spearhead bringing this all-star program to Hicksville. It was hosted for years by Bryan Schools and the Bryan Times, but they had given it up, and I know Josh and John and Bob here, they said, you know what, let's bring it to Hicksville, make it a great opportunity to highlight Hicksville, the program, and everything it's about with, you know, what they need to do for these great kids that participate in this program. So I asked these gentlemen to come here today and talk about the program, upcoming event April 1st, and just present what they're planning on doing and having a great day here in Hicksville. So who's talking first? Bob? Welcome, Bob Weatherhead. Everybody knows him. Everybody likes him.
I don't need this, because he just said it all. He already did. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Larry. And thank you, Rotary, for having us. We appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you about this event. We're really excited about it. Just a show of hands, did anybody ever go to the Bryan one? Yeah. Excuse me. It's a tremendous event that features the senior girls and boys from the area, gives them one last chance to, you know, represent their school and their team, and even though they're featured, the highlight, like Mike said, I think is the Special Olympics game that takes place between the girls game and the boys game, and that went on for 35 years straight at Bryan High School. Hosted it, and they had the sponsorship of the Bryan Times, I believe. And like so many things in 2020, COVID shut it down. And then in 2021, I don't think things were really gearing up yet again. And in 2022, last year, they didn't have it. And so Josh is head coach of the Lady Aces basketball program. I assist him. And he and I were talking last summer, and we thought, you know, why don't we find out if Bryan intends to do this again, and if not, let's bring it to Hicksville. And Josh, give him, you know, most of the credit. He drove this thing. He's still driving it, but he's driving from Alaska this week. Most people go south for spring break. I don't know. He went to Alaska. Anyway, it's something that we came up with last summer, and really proud and really excited. And it's the first annual, and we're calling it the Northwest Ohio Senior All-Star Classic. And it is a basketball game between girls from the area, and then they'll play, and then there's halftime, and then the Special Olympians play, and then the boys play, if you remember the format, if you ever went to Bryan. So what happened last summer is we called Bryan. We didn't want to step on any toes, and we're not, you know, trying to steal anybody's event or anything like that. And they said that when they lost the Bryan Times sponsorship, interest kind of waned, and nobody really picked up the baton to do it, and they pretty much gave us their blessing. Go ahead and go ahead, take the event, just don't use our name. So we don't use the Cage Classic as the name. It's the Northwest Ohio Senior All-Star Classic. And so they were very helpful. They gave us, you know, all the information that they had about advertising. They gave us their little P&L and what was able to be contributed. Just a reminder that, you know, the proceeds, almost all the proceeds are going to the 4 Special Olympic programs in Fulton, Henry, Williams, and Defiance counties. Paulding County is participating, but they don't have a Special Olympics program, so there's no proceeds going to them, but some of their high school kids will be represented. So we checked with Brian, got it cleared, and we formed a committee. John joined us, Mike joined us, some school officials. We asked, and HIX-TV, Bill and Chris are going to stream it. It's really a great thing that they're doing that. We appreciate that too, so more people can see it. We're hoping for a big crowd. We know it's April 1st, and it starts at 5 o'clock. And we understand that there is another event going on that night in town. PTO is having a fundraiser that night. But I don't think that there's going to be a huge conflict because, like Mike said, 24 schools will be represented. So we're drawing a lot of people from out of town for this. There'll be 5 counties represented, like I said, Fulton, Henry, Williams, Paulding, and Defiance, and 4 counties of Special Olympians. All in all, there's 75 participants coming to play in Hicksville, plus volunteer coaches who have stepped up. The Hicksville seniors that will be participating on the boys' side will be Aaron Klima. If you've seen him play, fantastic kid, fantastic player. And then on the girls' side, Lindsay Bergman and Kenzie Schrader. Don't expect to see Kenzie play. She's representing in the 3-point contest. If you know anything about her, she's a tremendous player, 1,000-point scorer, and blew out her knee for the 2nd time in high school in our 4th game. So her season was lost, but she had surgery and she's coming back and she's going to participate in the 3-point contest. So we wish her well there. Like I said, over 75 participants coming April 1st. The format is basically at 5 o'clock will be the girls' game. And they'll play that. It's an east-west format, so the counties to the east will be playing counties from the west. Same thing with the boys and the Special Olympic. Excuse me. After or at halftime of the girls' game, there's going to be a 3-point contest by the girls, the boys, and Special Olympians. And then between games, Special Olympics will have their exhibition game. And if you've been to Bryan and seen this, this is what you want to be there for. I mean, you want to be there for the full event, but it's really exciting to see them being announced for their game. All participants are announced, not just starters or anything like that. And it's a really exciting time, and it gives me goosebumps sometimes when I watch because these players play hard, they play well, and they're competitive. So it's fun to see that. After that, the boys will play. Halftime of the boys, there will be a dunk contest. And then we'll also be recognizing local players who have reached milestones like 1,000 points, and then any teams that have gone to the district level to play. We'll recognize those teams too. Got to give a huge thanks. Brian lost the sponsorship, Brian Times. Once we started talking about this, Jim Schmidt got word of it. And he was eager. He stepped up right away and said, what can I do? How can I help? And well, we happen to have an opening for naming sponsorship. So basically, it's brought to you by Jim Schmidt Family of Dealerships, this all-star game. And we're so appreciative to Jim and Karen and their family of dealerships for sponsoring this. Also need to thank the volunteers, John, Mike, and the school officials who have stepped up and participated in the committee meetings. We've been meeting for 9 months to put this on. Also, Tribune Printing, Stephanie Feely and Mike Barth. Mike, we couldn't have done it without you guys. You're so much help with the promotion and just getting this kick-started. Really, really appreciate that. So, April 1st again, Hicksville Gym. Thanks to John and Johnny for joining us here too. Also, big thanks to Bill Murphy. Thank you for covering this and this event, and Chris, all you do for that too. So again, thank you guys. Great lunch. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
I don't have much else to say other than this is a big deal for the Special Olympic athletes. Johnny has been doing Special Olympics since he was 10, and he is 24 now. And when the Brian Times All-Star Cage Classic ended, that left a void for those Special Olympics athletes. They really looked forward to that every year. Even if they weren't playing, Johnny, we would typically go and watch some of his teammates play. But that also was the biggest fundraiser for all the county Special Olympics. And so that was a big hit for them. And then with COVID, that really set them back. And so this has been a great idea that Josh, when he first came up with to me, he said, "What do you think?" And it's worth a shot. I said, logistically, that's all on Josh. And Josh Freese, I think, really enjoys doing this and coordinating it, and we're hoping that it will last a long time. And I know Johnny's very excited about playing this year.
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Bruce.
Question, how do you guys make your money? I mean, you make your money only from ticket sales that come in? I mean, you say Smith's underwriting this, I don't know what that amounts to, but
Yeah, so there'll be, Jim's underwriting a big portion of it, but there's gonna be ticket sales, there's gonna be a 50-50, and concessions that, again, a portion, just a really small portion is going to cover expenses and the women's basketball program at Hicksville, but 90+% is going to the Special Olympics, as it has in the past.
your money basically is from those things, from ticket sales to get in.
Yeah, and advertising, right,
The
Mike?
program.
Pro-
Yeah, the
program
programs
advertising.
and the advertising in that, and, it's really blown up here. It got a start, kind of a slow start, but, just gotta give you a heads up, we're up to 28 pages with, ads and all the players have profiles and bios, everybody. So we
And
reached out to
businesses
all
had
of them.
opportunities to sponsor, put an ad on the page and that kind of thing. And again, our first year, we're gonna do a better job of promoting it next year. Mike done a great job, and Stephanie, of supporting that. But that's a big part of the moneymaker too for.
And we're working on a way, hopefully too, when we do the live stream, we're gonna have something in place where people watching the live stream will be able to make a donation either by clicking on a QR code that we'll have on the screen, or if we can't get that worked out, we'll have like an address or whatever, people watching on TV can make donations that way, that again will just be turned over to Josh and then go right to the Fort
So
County
you have
program.
sponsorship on the TV.
We have some of our basic underwriters, and then I'm planning on spending a happy buck here next Tuesday to see if anybody here would like to chip in, because any underwriting that we do, we're going to do similar to what they're going to do. Any underwriting we get for this event, we will be splitting a portion of that, and that will go to the Special Olympics as well. We'll have to keep a little bit for ourselves too, to help with the station operations, but we're planning on doing the same thing for any underwriting that we get dedicated to this event.
So what other people could do if they're not attending the game is perhaps talk to Mike about a sponsorship of the program, or maybe Bill to help do that. That's where my question was going with this.
Yeah, we have, Mike, you can bring us all up to speed. Next week, we'll have one more committee meeting next week before the event, and we'll try to get a vote put on this thing and put it on and see how we do first year.
John, how big is the Special Olympic teams? How many players?
I think 5 from each county. So, and typically what'll happen then from each year, they will kind of rotate the players. So Johnny won't be on the All-Star team next year.
That's what I'm glad I'm doing it this year.
Awesome.
How many do you have other events for the Special Olympics team? Do you get to travel to other places and just practice, or kind of?
Well, so most of this builds off of their regular Special Olympics basketball teams. And when was your last game, Johnny, for basketball? When did you play last? February?
February 8th.
8th, yeah. So his season has been over for a while. But they practice starting in October, and it's something that they look forward to.
Is basketball your only sport, or do you do other things?
Yeah, I do baseball too.
Okay.
And fortunately, the baseball is all.
I used to do bowling, but I retired.
Yeah. Yeah, he won the state bowling in Indiana, and then he retired after that. But we're fortunate being in Hicksville, where we're so close to Fort Wayne. So he does 3 different baseball leagues in Fort Wayne that are all related to Special Olympics or affiliated with Little League. So we make a lot of trips to Fort Wayne in the summer.
We should do a presentation sometime on the trip to Florida.
Oh,
That'd be good.
yeah,
Well, we're going to 2 New York trips this summer.
yeah, for baseball games, but,
Mhm.
yes, but yeah, he played in the Special Olympics USA Games for unified softball last
Last
summer.
year.
So, hopefully. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
As always, if you have any questions afterwards and you want to come up and shake a hand, it's always appreciated. Any other questions or announcements? If not, we'll dismiss with the pledge.